Has anyone ever been to a circus before? I have. It was so amazing to see all these animals and people doing these tricks that I couldn't do in a million years. It was awesome. But when we think about it, how do the animals learn to do the tricks they do? Well, to come to find out, it's pretty brutal. The trainers actually abuse their animals to make them submit to the trainers. While not all circuses abuse their animals, there are reported cases of mistreatment to the animals. While it's not wrong for circuses to use their animals for entertainment, it's certainly wrong for for people to abuse and mistreat God's creation. Animals are God's creations, so therefore we should take care of them. One example of mistreatment in the circus is this. They spend too much time living in cages. According to freedomforanimals.org, animals spend most of the year traveling from place to place. This means they are caged up most of their time. On top of that, OneGreenPlanet.org says that animals spend up 90% of their time in cages. These cages are tight, being about 5 to 10 feet for big cats and bears. They're also small, so they get cuts and sores just from rubbing on it all the time. They don't have much room to move either, only really being able to turn around. Elephants are also chained up for 23 hours of the day. This means they don't get much time to move around and exercise. Because they don't get to move around and exercise, they get obese. They get health problems because they are fat and obese. And with health problems, elephants have to stand a lot. This causes their legs and feet to get worn out, and this will cause them over time not to be able to stand. And when they can't stand, they are put down because they're no use to the circus anymore. Along with elephants, the famous white tiger has health problems too. White tigers do not roam around in the wild. The way they are bred is by inbreeding, or in other words, incest. This makes them have genetic mutations along with various other health problems when they are born. Breeding animals like this could be considered abuse because you could avoid a whole bunch of health problems. You could avoid it from the start. So the first way they have been abused is by being caged up too much. The second way they are being abused is that they are beaten pretty bad. According to freedomforanimals.org, elephants have been hit in the face with a metal rod, trainers twist their tails, and even an ex-member have come out and said they use an electric prod and quote-unquote fried them for 10 minutes, which I think might be a little excessive. According to treehugger.com, elephants are abused from a baby in order to break their spirit. All the baby's legs are chained up for all but 1 hour of the day. They are beaten and shocked while chained up. It can take up to 6 months before they learn that struggling and going against the trainers is useless. When animals get injured from abuse, their wounds are covered up with makeup so the audience doesn't see how bad it actually is. There's a fine line between what is discipline and what is abuse. I believe some circuses have crossed this line. When you have to cover up wounds from beating, I believe that's too far. You should take care of God's creations. These are God's creations. So not only are they caged up all the time, they are also beaten very harshly. And the final way they have been abused is this. They are sometimes even starved. According to treehuggers.com, the big cats you see in circuses are beaten, starved, and confined so they can do what trainers want them to do. So they're not only beaten and confined, like I mentioned before, but they are also starved. I do not believe that circuses should be allowed to use this as punishment. If cats are hungry, they'll do what they can to eat. This could even include attacking people. For the people in animal safety, I don't think there should be a form of punishment. I feel it's too risky for everybody and everything. I think the punishment they have now is even a little too much. They need to take away, they do not need to take away their food to train them further. These are the ways that animals in circuses can be abused. Some circuses cage up animals too much, some beat them too much, and some even starve them. So how do the animals learn to do the things they do? Well, as you came to find out, it's pretty brutal. Trainers actually abuse the animals in order to make them submit to the trainers. While not all circuses abuse their animals, there are some that do. I think some circuses can do a much better job of taking care of the animals they currently have. It is true that circuses isn't as popular as they used to be, but they are still around. So what can we do? Well, truth be told, not much. But there are countries that are regulating animals in the circus. OneGreenPlanet.org even says 4 countries have banned animals in the circuses altogether. So, while it's not wrong to use an animal, it's certainly wrong to abuse and misuse God's